special event alert.
I shit my flight suit at the turnstile. I just turned around and gave up. I was like, okay.
He turned around and gave up and went home.
He
That was it.
just went home. He just crawled back in his freaking truck and sat in himself the whole way home.
After a hard night of partying.
He just done. I give up.
Which is excuse number 178 for being late for changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott,
Gentlemen, good evening.
and our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
It's good to see you guys, man.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the Earthbound branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
Thanks for that long-winded and I'll cut out the first part of it, so it'll work.
Oh, yeah.
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Holy shit, that's a good one. That's
Oh,
a good one.
I
That's
felt
better
so
than what I
bad
was
for
going
him.
to read. I'll
I
read
felt
that
so
one.
bad for him. I was like, yeah, good call, dude.
I mean, if you're hungover, you're barely there, you're late anyway, and then you just blow a ring on your
You just
flight suit.
let it go in the flight suit.
And that's trapping. That's all the way down to your butt.
Oh,
Oh, dude.
It had to be, right?
Yeah.
Had to be. Don't care what.
Even
color
if
you
it
are.
was just stuck to the panties, yeah, and it's still, you're good. He just turned around at the turnstile. and
oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
back to the
That's
car.
hilarious.
I'm done.
Oh,
That is hilarious. You guys have a good Memorial Day.
very much so. Very much so. Didn't do a
It was
whole
a
lot,
good
but
day.
had a good time. Yeah.
You went up to Silverthorne, Eric.
Yeah, did a little hiking, played golf Saturday and Sunday, and then,
Nice, dude.
yeah, it was nice. Did some hiking up in Silverthorne. It's cool. Came back today.
Jake,
That's
did you do
awesome.
anything?
No, I just lounged around. Like, it's been busy the last couple of weekends, so
Well, true.
it was
And
kind
with
of nice.
that rain this weekend, it kind of made it easy to
It was-
kind of just
It
sit
was just
around.
perfect. Yeah,
I
I did
had
a brief bicycle ride, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy. And then Saturday or Sunday before Memorial Day, we saw the Black Keys and
no way.
Hermanos Gutierrez at the Ford Amphitheater.
Oh, nice.
So here in Colorado Springs,
Ah,
man, that was a
okay.
great show. It rained, but
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I like sometimes when it hits you the right way, and it's like, oh, it's rain, so I don't have to go outside and do anything. I
yeah,
just
that's
lay
what
inside,
Monday was.
do nothing.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's what I did. I honored our dead by being dead on the couch.
Oh man, rough.
What can I say?
Yep.
Geez, I went out to Fort Logan to see my parents' graves, and it was like a movie. It was by the time I got there, it was just this crazy downpour.
Wow.
And I was out with the umbrella trying to put some flowers in the little vases they have there. Those things
nice.
filled up, and then I was like, "Yeah, well, that's not going to last."
Not
But,
working.
yeah,
That's
it was
pretty
like
cool,
it
though.
was like a movie, and I was like, "Oh man, this
Yeah.
would be miserable." So anyway,
Where's Fort Logan at?
way out, almost in Lakewood.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
way out west. So,
nice.
but not all that far west, but it's a pain in the ass to get to, at least
Yeah.
from where I'm at. So.
I've never been there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. They recently they didn't do it for my dad. He died in 2019, but I've been to a couple other funerals out there, and they have this like honor bell now. It's really cool. The
That's cool.
American Legion guys do it, and it's this enormous bell. It's like 5 foot long, and they're like, bing, bing. It's really cool. It's really cool.
That is cool.
But speaking of graveyards, we can hit that later. Actually,
Oh,
we've got a
okay.
story about Arlington Graveyard. As you
Oh,
can
I
see
like
right
it.
there.
I like it.
But first off, and I hope you guys give some thought to this, which I know you didn't because you didn't read it, but if you had, it could have been really funny. So while I'm talking through this article, think what would be the best sponsorship of rockets? What company would be a great sponsorship for rockets? Because our first story from spacenews.com is it's an editorial piece by these two guys, Andrew Penn and Tony Simpson. And their headline is Space Sponsorship, the Next Frontier for Revenue Generation. Yeah, which makes sense, actually, if you think about it. And it's really interesting. They have a article in here, or a line in here, which makes you think.
I think, Marty, though, the only real sponsorship that we want to see is Astroglide.
Of course, right? It's got to be.
Astro
Yeah,
and
sure.
Glide.
Right next to the Mars bar.
Right,
I was
right
thinking-
there, all the way up the side of that rocket.
Where can your mind go with that?
Well, I was thinking depends.
Yeah.
It depends should be on there. I mean, you know, they can't solve this in-flight pee problem, so depends all the way. Yeah. Keep them coming.
Nice.
As a new aerospace exploration and development unfolds, one with far more private sector investment and leadership, the potential for rapid growth is promising. National security, deep space exploration, and a plethora of emerging commercial applications are driving up global space sector revenue, projected to reach $1.8 trillion by 2035.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Versus $600 billion in 2023. So these two guys wrote this article about they were drawing parallels on how space, which doesn't really make any money, it dumps a lot of capital into it, but it doesn't really make any money. How they can make some of this money back, a la how sports makes a ton of money, right?
Yep.
Many new space companies find themselves grappling with the harsh realities of protracted development cycles and an austere fundraising environment. Consequently, nearly every publicly traded new space venture is operating at a loss, pouring considerable resources into the development of next-generation solutions, but often missing growth targets. Yeah, I mean, unless they pay you to take their satellite up, right? How are they going to make any money? It's a phenomenon that is starting to eat into the flow of new capital to help bridge the so-called valley of death that too often stands in the way of novel technologies progressing to commercial scale. Space companies need to identify new revenue streams. The space sector should consider taking a page out of the sports industry playbook by establishing corporate sponsorships that can bring in billions with minimal outlay. The sports industry generated a staggering $90 billion in sponsorship revenue in 2024. Showcasing the potential for this lucrative high-margin revenue source that has remained largely untapped by space companies. So
I understand you can sell lemonade outside the front door of your building and really make a fortune with some lemonade.
What are you talking about?
It's
Just a lemonade stand, or is this
Yeah,
a political thing?
no, it's a lemonade stand, man. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
income stream,
You're
right?
good.
We're selling lemonade.
Yeah.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
sure, that's a good idea, Eric.
I thought
be
that was going to go
Starlink.
over better. I thought it would go over
I
better.
know you wanted it to be more sarcastic and more impactful.
Yeah.
Just did it.
I'm trying to figure out something with GPS, like we'll help you find all the mythical spots. Like, I don't know who would sponsor it.
Well,
Look at this.
yeah, no, I think it's something else. So I'll read this
Oh.
chart to you here.
Viagra for sure needs to go on there. All the rockets, at least.
So if you look at this chart they put up, Space Shuttle made its first flight in 1981, and let's see, in 1986, the Russian space station began service in 1986. So that little 5 years, but right in there, Coca-Cola and Pepsi approached NASA about flying specialized products to space aboard the space shuttle, marking one of NASA's first notable commercial engagements. And they
Nice.
probably turned them down. They probably didn't want it, right? But in 1990, the Tokyo Broadcasting System paid $11 million to the Russian Space Agency for the flight of a journalist to the Russian space station.
Damn.
All right, so $11 million. Well, I mean, Russia for decades was getting, once we shut down the shuttle and we were paying them to go up, they were getting paid by everybody.
Yeah.
In 1996, Pepsi paid $5 million to have a cosmonaut float a replica of a Pepsi outside of the Russian space station.
For $5 million.
For $5 million. Now,
Wow.
imagine how pissed that guy was, right? Ivan, we need you to float this American toilet water drink, but you need to blow it up and float it outside the capsule. They're stupid. The Yankees are giving us $5 million for it.
Dude, you know what's crazy is weren't they on the when did they become part of the ISS?
I don't know. We should look that up. I don't know when it came.
Because,
when the
Russians
Soviet
are
one
like,
went in.
Yeah, deal, we'll do it. And Americans are like, we're too good for that.
Right.
What about $5 million? Still too good for that. Russians are like, yeah, dibs. Come on, man.
Yeah,
bring it
Hold
on
to that crap.
Smile
a lot. We
we'll
can't
even do it
see
for
you
less
through the
if you
visor.
want.
Yeah, exactly.
In 2000, Pizza Hut paid $1 million for its logo on a Russian rocket. Again, a Russian rocket.
Wow.
And they stuck Pizza Hut on there.
Perfect.
This one's kind of funny. In 2005, Radio Shack broadcasted a commercial in the Russian space station where a Russian cosmonaut received a Radio Shack product as a gift from his daughter.
Oh.
So Radio Shack paid to broadcast that commercial. And in 2006, Element 21 had a Russian cosmonaut hit a golf ball from the ISS porch as part of a commercial. Why are they? Because NASA's too uptight, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so they all go, well, Russia will do it. We'll have Russia.
I'm surprised Coca-Cola didn't come up in 96 and try to compete with Pepsi.
Yeah, right.
I'm surprised. One shot and they gave up.
Well, and here's another example that these guys give about how sports and views, right, may turn into profits. So back in 2012, you remember, did you – I can't believe it was that long ago.
Oh,
yeah, I don't believe it was that long ago, too.
He did that Red Bull space jump.
Awesome.
Oh,
hell yeah.
God, man. That was awesome. But
we watched that, too. That was a great –
9.5 million live viewers, right?
That's
then February 6, 2018, the Tesla Roadster launch. But they just threw the car out, and they're like, there you go. That had 2.3 million concurrent viewers and 48 million views to date.
Man.
The New Shepard human flight, that was in 2021. That was 3.5 million views. SpaceX Inspiration 4 launch in 2021 of September 2021. 4 million live viewers, and it was done by a Netflix docuseries was made out of it. In 22, Artemis 1 launch had over 8,000 live viewers, or 800,000 live viewers, over 10 million viewers total. And August 2023, the India moon landing, over 8 million watched it live, and over 79 million total viewers to date.
Wow.
That's cool.
So they're getting the views, right? Why not slap some sponsorships on there, right?
How much did Mrs. Bezos and Katy Perry get?
I don't know. I was going, if I had more time, I would have looked that up.
Well, the same with, what's his name? Shatner, Captain Kirk, when he went, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if people watched that, but I mean,
I think they did.
Yeah, well, maybe.
William Shatner, brother.
But it'd be interesting.
Come on, man.
If only when I get that assistant, he'll be like looking that up. So, using sports sponsorship deals as a benchmark for what companies are willing to spend to access relevant audiences, we can estimate a rate of about 2.5 to 4 cents per viewer. This could translate into a potential value of $25 to $40 million from one sponsor for a single event that attracts 1 billion viewers, to 50 to 80 million with 2 billion viewers. Okay, wow. Billion, that's pushing it, right? But you start putting some of those labels on there, and you're like, maybe I'll watch this.
I mean, how How many people watched the last freaking land, like the SpaceX catch one?
Well, I don't know. SpaceX launched their Dragon today before I left.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it. I was trying to rush to get home to you,
Here
to
we
you
go.
two fine gentlemen, but I haven't heard. But SpaceX is putting it back on the map, man. At least as far as video replays.
Yeah.
You know, you watch NASA; they're boring as all get out. We've compared the two before.
Yeah, but
SpaceX
that's-
is cheering and all that other shit.
Oh man,
fun.
yeah.
Does the
Yeah,
sponsors
they're going to
become
town.
like a commercial that nobody cares about? Nobody. Who gives a shit? It's a commercial. It's a
What
sponsorship.
commercial?
I'm saying it compares to looking at a commercial. Sponsorships will lose their oomph. It'll be like us going, oh, fuck, I'm going to fast forward through the commercials. I don't want to watch them. So they're going to see all these sponsorship stickers, labels, and go, I don't care. Who gives a rat's ass?
No, I don't think.
Does it
Look
equate-
at soccer jerseys, dude.
I know.
Soccer
and-
jerseys, like everybody's rocking a soccer jersey.
But
Yeah.
we're
It's
talking
like-
about we're talking about something different here. We're talking about space, a rocket that is designed to do one thing. It's not an athlete. It's not running around, something that you can cheer for. Well, I mean it is, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't think
So-
it's going to gather the kind of sponsorship attention that somebody wearing it on a jersey.
Well,
an
no,
athlete.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to generate that kind of.
People
But
will look past it.
if you
So
get some of these
Starships
events, right? that
On
are-
on SpaceX YouTube channel, the Starship 5th flight test,
yeah.
and it's well done. Like it's well made. Got 3.2 million views.
Just today?
And no, that was the one 6 months
Oh, the
ago.
last one. Okay.
But then that same thing on Associated Press, or no, Bloomberg Technology got 1.1 million, and Associated Press got 1.3 million. So just that one event
Yeah.
was watched close to 6 million times.
Sure.
On,
It's a lot.
on a variety of different
And they
channels.
said 2 cents. Is that what you said earlier?
It could
Marty?
it could add up to 2 cents.
2.5
per,
to 4 cents per viewer.
Wow.
So, but look, F1 is a sport completely dependent on sponsors.
Look at NASCAR, dude.
Yeah, NASCAR same way. You know, and it's different sizes for different. You know, if you got the hood,
Yeah. M&Ms.
you're footing that bill for that car. If you got the
Yeah.
little spot under the mirror, you know,
Yeah.
all right, you're paying some, but you're not paying at all. So
Well, and you know that like some people don't. If they have a favorite racer and he switches teams or he switches sponsors, you're like, dude, Dunlop moved
Oh,
off of this
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
M&M's moved off of this guy. What
Right.
the heck happened?
right.
You know?
I just don't see space being equivalent to those kind of genres.
It won't be. But
It's not-
you're talking these space companies make nothing.
I
If
think
you
they
wanna-
will continue to make nothing from
No,
sponsorship.
if you want to pay
No,
me
look
10,
at Russia.
10 mil to put a logo on a rocket, fuck yeah.
Russia just added, they literally just added up
Coke paid them $5 million.
and then keep going down that timeline. There was multiple 5 millions.
Yeah.
Okay, how much does it cost to launch one rocket? Way back then. That probably paid for at least
maybe
a quarter of the launch.
Yeah, I was going to
or
say a
minimum.
quarter of it, maybe. Yeah, sure.
Rather
All
than
right.
getting nothing, I'll take a Pepsi can up there.
It's not going to be sports. They're just using
No,
sports
it's
to
not.
say,
No.
here's how you could make money with space launch.
right.
You know,
Okay.
and they're using it strictly by views, 2 cents per view, 25 million views. That sponsor gives you this much money,
Like Marty, how
From
much
one sponsor.
money
right?
do you steal from us on all of our views? On all sponsorship?
Oh, I pocket 4.5 to 5 cents a view.
Fucking do it.
I've almost got a quarter.
Got 75 cents, bitches.
That's how he bought that new house.
Thank
Yeah.
you very
I
much.
bought that new house.
Right. It's
Mhm.
been a slow burn, baby.
Florida, here we come. 100 viewers. Ba-boom. Or subscribers, excuse me.
Florida, double wide, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey,
Well, since Eric is such a pessimistic, no sponsorship kind of guy,
I don't see it being all that lucrative, but okay.
so Eric be like, you know who's licking their chops for Eric right now? NASA's going, that's our kind of guy right there.
yep. NASA's like free money. No,
You
thank
need to hire that guy. Hire that guy.
you.
He is by the book, by the record, and making no money for us. How would you
Yep.
like to come on board?
Well, that's like Trump and his free airplane that he's getting, right? So,
Yeah.
ooh,
Well, I don't know what he's getting a free airplane.
I know. I'm
That's gonna cost.
just trying to talk.
That's okay. Look, we bitch about people getting more than $50. We all have to report that shit.
I know.
If we get
I
more
know
than
how
50
they're getting
bucks.
around it. I keep thinking, how
And
they
they're
getting
doing
around
this bullshit. I'm like, come on, man.
If he's just going, oh, they're giving it to the Air Force, not to me. I'm like, maybe that's good enough.
That's not. No, dude. Just say no, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Give me a decorative sword I can put in the White House.
Well, it's not like they're paying his
Fuck
son
off.
for finger paintings or something.
No, but that's naughty too. Like that's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
all
nothing
naughty.
happened with that. That was
It's all naughty. It
completely
doesn't make
wrong.
it any better or any worse. It's
No, that's
just
true.
all shit.
I just
No
like to
matter
see him-
what color or team you're on.
And
Right.
what did he say? I'm taking this airplane.
Fuck that. Like
That's the Air Force's airplane, Eric. Come on.
it's not.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Speaking of the military, let's talk some good news from Task and
Oh
Purpose.
yeah.
All right. A bipartisan bill would nix federal taxes on military bonuses. Yeah.
I like it.
Now we're
I
talking.
like it.
A bipartisan House bill would remove federal taxes from military bonuses. The bill, guess what the name of this bill is?
Is it
One
part of
guess,
the
Eric.
Big beautiful bill? No.
It's no taxes on bonuses. So what did they name the bill?
No taxes on bonuses.
Close. They named it the Bonus Act.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How about retirement, man? Let's talk.
The
get
bill, nicknamed the Bonus Act, would exempt service members' enlistment, re-enlistment, and performance bonuses from being taxed by the federal government. Service members in combat zones already benefit from the tax-free income during their deployments, but the proposed legislation would put more cash into military families' pockets at home. The bipartisan bill introduced this week is sponsored by, last week, sponsored by Representatives Jen Kiggins, a Republican from Virginia, and Sanford Bishop, a Democrat from Georgia, who are co-chairs of the House Military Family Caucus. The legislation would amend a section of the federal tax code and apply to any bonuses earned after December 31st, 2024. A report released by the Pentagon in January found that junior enlisted troops bring home more pay than their civilian peers with similar work and education levels. Have you ever heard that before? You've heard that before. I've heard that pitched out there. before,
Military
too.
brings home more pay.
Yeah, more pay than their
Oh,
civilian peers.
because they add in your freaking off base. Your
Right, they trick it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. You technically you'd have to spend $100 a year on your notary rights. Fuck off, dude.
I get that for free, baby.
Exactly. Dude. Give me a
Yeah.
break, man.
Now, under the old days of like the commissary and BX, when
Maybe.
prices were like significantly different than
Exactly.
going off base,
Yes.
that was the place. Class 6, was there any better deal than Class 6?
No.
Nope,
Oh
the
my
liquor store was
God.
the bomb, man. Yeah.
Yeah, $3,
Yeah,
$4
dude.
cheaper on
Yeah.
base with no tax.
And no tax.
Yeah, that was great. But now AFES is like, oh, we're losing too much money. Let's just go
But here's
same
the thing.
prices outside, but don't tax.
AFES it's not a fucking for-profit.
I
thing.
know.
It's-
It never has been, but they've been trying to run it like that for the last 30 years. So, yeah, it sucks. A report. Okay. So they say that we make more, or enlisted troops bring home more pay than the civilian peers. However, other experts have pointed to the tough recruiting environment and added stress of military service, which is frequent moves, deployments, and hazardous jobs. Oh yeah, as a reason to consider what "quote unquote" competitive compensation looks like for young troops.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
agree
there's a
100%.
lot more than just
Yeah.
pay, right?
Yeah, I just didn't wake up my alarm clock and go into work for 8 hours and go home.
Yeah, they control your life.
Right.
Yes.
100% of your life.
Yeah. And they're like, hey, you are going to move in a month. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
I just got here. Yeah, that
yeah.
sucks.
Well, I know. That's a
Too
bummer.
bad. See you
Sometimes that
later.
happens.
Oh, did you ever hear anybody say that it's a cliche, but they're like, oh, yeah, the military never issued you a family.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, I hated that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that.
And it's funny, the dichotomy.
And then they're like, you could
of-
just get out. I'm like,
I know. The people in
That
who
doesn't
are
help
like,
either.
yeah, I
too
can't
bad,
just
suck it
get
up.
out.
And then they're like, oh, we can't understand why there's suicides. It's like, maybe you uncaring douchebags should probably rethink things, right?
Yeah.
Remember that story we did where they were kind of considering, should we should we PCS every 3 to 4 years? Is there a reason to do that anymore? I don't think there is, but it just died.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
yeah, you can't have everybody be at, the nice assignments, of course,
Yeah.
forever. But what is the reason that we rotate every 4 years?
Every 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, officers are every 2 to 3 years.
Right. Right.
You know how ridiculous. I thought acquisition officers were exempt from that, and so they did like a 4 or 5 year controlled tour.
Oh yeah.
No, dude, acquisition guys, they're there for 2 years and then they move. I'm like,
Really?
that acquisition process is like a 10-year process sometimes.
Now, how did you get through? anything?
And
Right.
every single, and you wonder why the whole process is fucking broken.
Sure.
You get somebody in there, you
Yeah.
get them trained up, you get them to actually like, oh, look at all your programs you're responsible for. Get up to
Right.
speed on all this. This is what the problems with this one, the problems with that one. And then they're like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah. And the
Right.
program managers get to know these guys. They're like, oh, we're coming up on a big milestone here. The commanders behind it, or the, SSC's behind us. And
Yeah.
this guy PCS's, and he's like, fuck. Now
Yep.
I have no idea what my program's going to happen to now. So,
Yeah.
Bishop, the bill's co-sponsor, said in a release that removing taxes on military bonuses would be another way to retain troops. One way we can thank these hardworking men and women, encourage talent to continue serving, is by providing a small bonus or incentive pay. A Senate version of the bill being sponsored by Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat out of Connecticut, who is the head Democrat on the Senate Affairs Committee, will be presented, I think, this week or next week. So
That's cool.
So they're trying.
Wasn't
All
there
right.
talk?
Thank you,
Wasn't there
Richard
talk
Blumenthal.
to
Yeah.
remove the taxes on your retirement as well? There was conversation.
That was part of that big, beautiful bill. But
It doesn't make any sense.
taxes on Social Security. I think they were
I
trying to
don't
figure that out.
understand
Yeah.
that. Why is there taxes on Social Security?
Yeah, it's a double taxation, right?
You've given a shit ton of money
yeah.
that you're taxed on to the government. They've invested it fucking poorly.
I know.
Yeah.
Just
right.
grossly inept in investment. And then they give it back to you,
And tax you.
making nothing, and then tax you still.
Fuck, yeah,
Again.
right.
You're like, and it's not voluntary. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
just-
the Ponzi scheme, like you were
Yeah.
listening to. Who was on that JRE that was talking about that?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
That you were telling us about it, right? It is a Ponzi scheme.
It is a Ponzi
Absolutely
scheme,
Ponzi
but
scheme.
I mean, we
Well,
really-
and there's still 8 states that do it statewise.
oh, they do a state Social Security.
Colorado being one of them.
I like the idea of
8
Social
states.
Security. I like that idea
Sure.
of people getting money when they're retired and something to count on, something to
Right.
rely on. But it's just so horribly managed. Like
Oh God, yeah.
it's
Right.
just
Right,
you know.
right. Yeah, just like every other government thing
exactly
out there. So
exactly.
anyway, they're trying. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope that works. I mean, that can help
I
out
did too.
the young guys for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Young
not a
guys
ton, but
No.
you get a $5,000 bonus. It'd be nice to get all $5,000.
All 5,000.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, since it is literally coming out of the DoD funds,
Sure.
which are your taxpayer monies,
Which
and they're
you're
double
also
taxing
paying
it.
in. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm like, come on, guys.
So at least that soon-to-be ex-wife knows, how to calculate what to ask for. So
Amen.
there you go. So
She doesn't have to wait for you to deploy to get
no, that's right. She go, I can take that now.
get
Just
it in
coming
time.
now.
Re-up, you're crazy.
She should have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. What's wrong with that anyway? Okay, this next story caught my eye. It's a little bit infringing on Mr. History's territory.
Oh man.
But I got a couple. I got to get a couple of good pictures and videos for this one. So, plus,
Eric's like, I'll allow it.
I will.
This one is from Task and Purpose, and the headline was "When the Army Tried Out Nuclear Artillery."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll have you know that when I entered the artillery, when I went off to tech school, whatever you want to call it, they were like, "Hey, you got to apply for your top secret clearance." I was like, "Top secret?" And they're like, "Yeah, we still got nukes." That was '89. They still had them in the inventory
For artillery?
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
I got a top secret clearance in the artillery because they still had nuclear artillery
Warhead
shells. Yeah,
You just
in the
blew
inventory.
that secret.
Yeah.
Way
Oh,
to
yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's all declassified.
They're all coming for
Let's
us
hope
now.
so.
72 years ago, on May 25th, 1953, the U.S. Army carried out its first and only nuclear artillery test. We were so fast and loose with nukes. It was crazy. Smoking and nukes. We were like, there's no harm in this.
No
Let it
worries.
fly, boys. Let it fly.
The military actually made an atomic artillery shell, loaded it into a 280 millimeter cannon, and fired it, and it worked. The May 25th, 1953 test came at a time when there was a wider attempt to add atomic weapons into more conventional military weapons. All right. Eric, you're going to like this operation. Operation Upshot Knot Hole.
Yeah.
Now they say it out loud.
I
That's
would
even
not
funnier.
have voted for that
Now,
if it were that quiz that you did,
Oh,
buddy.
oh, that's not
That
true.
one, that one's
one's
not. That's
true.
made up. That's
No
totally
way.
not a real
Upshot Knot Hole was a series of tests carried out between March 17th through June 4th, 1953. They were intended to test nuclear devices for possible inclusion in the U.S. arsenal to improve military tactics, equipment, and training, and to study civil defense needs. Under this total Operation Upshot Knot Hole was a portion of the artillery called Shot Grable. Shot Grable took place towards the end of Operation Upshot Knot Hole. It was the artillery test unit from Fort Sill, home of the artillery, carried out operations on the cannon. According to the Nevada National Security Site, 280 millimeter cannons were brought in, and roads had to be paved because these things were so big, given the weight of each artillery piece. Additionally, 2,600 troops were on hand for exercises coinciding with the test. The atomic shell was given the designation of W9, while the special cannon made for it were called the M65, later nicknamed Atomic Annie.
I didn't know
And they
that.
have
I wonder how many of that 2,600 only have left nipples. And the right ones just fell off, just done. Gone.
that cannon is on display at the Fort Sill Artillery Museum. I've seen it.
Still mildly radioactive.
Still there, right? Could be.
That's cool.
At
That's way
8:30, they fired the cannon on May 25th. The nuclear shell flew. How many miles do you think it flew? To be safe, General Perrott, how far away should we fire this nuclear artillery
In the
shell?
1950s, I would have thought
More
maybe
than 10.
70.
10 miles? How
70.
far?
70?
70? This thing
I have no
flew.
idea how far an artillery shell goes.
It doesn't go
Me
that
neither.
far.
Oh.
But this one in particular flew 6.25 miles.
Oh, I was off.
6
Ran.
miles away.
They're all radiated, man. They're all
Dude.
radiated.
Yeah.
They're all
At best,
blowing.
they all have daughters.
And
At very best.
at best, yeah, you're right. You're right.
At worst, no right
Uh,
nipples. For
Oh, my
Detonating a
God.
few hundred feet above the ground with a yield of 15 kilotons. The blast was as powerful as the bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
Wow.
And they're 6 miles away.
6 miles away, soldiers in trenches and foxholes watched as the mushroom cloud
They
rose
are
over the
glowing,
Nevada grounds.
glowing.
Oh,
man.
my God. Teams tried to get closer to inspect the impact of the blast, but couldn't get closer than about 1 mile away from the epicenter of the detonation. So
Oh,
here's
wonder
the
why.
Where
here's
was it
the-
at? Where did they do that again?
Nevada.
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 Here's the famous picture of it.
Wow.
So that's Atomic Annie, and there's 6 miles away is a nuclear blast more powerful than Hiroshima.
Was that
Wow.
We were so
was
ridiculous
that
with nukes.
artillery? Like, was that team standing right there while firing it?
They were. I don't know if they had a lanyard, but
Oh,
I mean,
man, you're
they weren't 10 miles away.
6
from the
miles
gun.
and 10 feet away. This 10 feet, boys. I promise.
It's right here,
This is
perfect.
done.
Just
Well-
stand behind it.
Hey, even loading the shell, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah,
even loading
Yeah.
the shell.
we get problems from depleted uranium. This is a live nuclear bomb they're
Yeah.
loading into this.
You
thing,
sit
right?
in a dentist chair and they throw a big freaking lead freaking jacket over.
Yeah, the lead vest they used
Yeah.
to give you.
So this
Dude,
guy's
can you
loading up the
imagine
round.
that? They're like, will this go off when we actually like in the cannon, or is it gonna wait? They're like, pretty sure it's gonna wait. It's gonna
Yeah,
go off way
should be
down
fine.
way
It's all in the
6
way we fuse it. It's okay.
6
You'll be all
miles
right.
and 10 feet away. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
Well, there.
Is that an actual picture that we're looking
Yeah,
at? Is
that's the picture
Wow.
of
That's
the thing
insane,
going.
dude.
I know. It would be that day, May 25th, would be the only time the nuclear artillery shells would actually be fired.
Wow.
And only one cannon would fire a single round during Operation Upshot Knothole. But they wanted a shitload of these things. In fact, they built how many did they build? Nearly 24 of these cannons they built. Right? Because the Soviet horde, man. Soviets were coming across the plains. We're just going to bomb them with nukes.
Well, can't this thing shoot a normal shell too?
Yeah, it could. It could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, but let me take this picture out. Despite the
That's
success
crazy.
of this artillery cannon, they experimented with many different other ones. One I chose here is called the Davy Crockett. I think this was in 1960. The Army fielded a tactical nuclear weapon system during the Cold War called the Davy Crockett. It was a recoilless rifle that fired a nuclear warhead with a yield of between 0.01 and
Are
0.02
you
kilotons,
serious, man?
or
A
roughly
recoilless?
10 to 20 tons of TNT. Look at this son of a bitch. Here is the Davy Crockett.
Wow. Did we
Didn't
come
want-
up with some craziness or
I
what?
know.
Hey, didn't we experiment with some nuclear tipped ammo? And I thought that was done down at Turkey Creek here.
No, I never heard about it. I never ran across that one, but that would be. We should put all these, and we should just keep catching them.
I'm blown away by this, man.
Watch this movie if you want to be blown away.
A recoilless rifle.
Safety measures for the exercise were supervised by the chief safety officer.
Who's dead now?
At
He died of
8 -
cancer.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
all troops were ordered to take cover
Get
in
down.
previously prepared trenches.
That's good. You guys are good, just like that.
Don't look at the mushroom.
Listen to what he
At
says.
8 - 3 minutes, all observers put on high-density goggles or turned their backs to the direction of the
Yeah.
burst to
Turn around,
avoid
dude.
retinal burns.
Just hide your head.
At 8
my
- 2
goodness.
minutes, green star clusters were fired as the final warning before the detonation.
Oh my gosh, dude.
The
There it
round
goes.
was launched at H - 17 seconds to accomplish H-hour impact on the desired ground zero at a range of 2,852 meters. The round was set for a low height of burst. It detonated perfectly, releasing its lethal radiation.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Like any other nuclear weapon, the Davy Crockett gives off 3 basic effects: heat, blast, and nuclear radiation. By far, the most significant effect is its deadly initial nuclear radiation.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What we did was just so irresponsible, man. It's
Man.
crazy, right? So while the warhead created a small nuclear explosion, the direct radiation released from the detonation had a higher kill radius than the blast itself. The lethal dose will kill you over the course of a few days or a week, but not right away.
Yeah, okay.
So they shot that thing 2.5 miles away. Just 2.5. Just turn your head. You know.
Unbelievable. I would love to know how many of everybody got sick. Who got sick?
They
and died
have
from the exposure of all that.
security forces guarding the nuclear stockpiles who come down with cancer. And they were on the outside just walking around.
Yeah.
Right? We did that story too. That
Yeah.
is crazy, man. So, yeah, we
Crazy
should do
things.
all these irresponsible back 50s, 60s experiments.
Man.
It's nuts, man.
We're crazy.
So that
And
was
those were
Atomic Annie.
Smart people, man. You would have thought, no way.
That's what you get. Trust the scientists.
Right.
These guys are like, oh, yeah, you should be good.
Oh.
We should be good 6 miles away. That's plenty.
And think about it. I didn't know anything, and I said, "Well, I think they should be 70 miles away. That thing's going to launch 70 miles.
We're 60.
What
or
cannon's going to
6.
launch at 70 miles?
Right,
Oh,
right.
Hmm.
All right.
Unbelievable.
This last story is a throwback. And before we get to it, I would like to show you a video from us 2 years ago. And it's not even a video. It's when we were doing audio. All right. So this story we first covered way back when.
Then
Look
it
at
became the CEO of Toyota. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't cut that right.
Let's talk about horses. Okay? Let's talk about horses. Specifically,
Sounds like a
Arlington
hallway.
National Cemetery horses.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys know anything about horses?
Not a thing. 4 legs and a tail.
No, thank you very much.
IKEA was making meatballs out of
You
them?
would have been valuable. You would have been from stripes.com. The Army is suspending horse-drawn funerals at Arlington National Cemetery for a year.
No.
Right?
Hmm.
The 3rd Infantry Regiment's Caisson platoon was initially pulled from escorting caskets of fallen service members to grave sites for 45 days initially. But Army officials said this week that the suspension will continue for a year
For a year.
to ensure the health of the platoon's herd. What kind of health? What problems do they got? Well, I'm glad you asked that.
Knee problems.
Well, you would think that doesn't even mention their knees. So, Arlington National Cemetery will extend its suspension of horse-drawn funerals until June 2024, while the
Nope,
Army
they missed that one.
rehabilitates its troubled
Yep.
working horses program.
Look at that. That was 2 years ago. That blows me away because it still feels like we just did that a
Yeah,
few
it's
months
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Right? But from stripes.com, the Army heralds a new beginning for the old guard as horse-drawn caissons are returning to Arlington. As we just heard, the horse-drawn caissons of the 3rd Infantry Regiment that have carried the caskets of deceased service members to grave sites at Arlington National Cemetery since 1948 are scheduled to formally resume service on June 2nd after a 2-year suspension, not a
So much as
1 year
1 year.
suspension.
Wow.
So they had to make major reforms, and I'll just skip down to what they were talking about. In May 2023, the Army canceled the iconic horse-drawn funerals after an internal investigation revealed poor living conditions for the animals, malnourishment, and a lack of open space for the herd. I remember, Jake, you were pretty riled up by this story, man.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it can't, it just blows my mind. I mean, I know horses cost a lot of money, but those, I mean, that's a very distinct thing. And then
Sure.
you're not going to bother training any of the guys that get assigned there. That was what I was shocked about, because later on in that news article, it's like, yeah, we haven't had any training. We don't know anything how to deal with these horses. We don't know how to, we just freaking, They're
Yeah.
good. I'm like, you can literally see them wasting away.
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't have any training, but they're eating gravel.
Dude.
Common sense, okay?
Come on, man.
So they must have whoever took charge of this thing. They must have read that first article, or maybe they listened to us, and they were
Yeah, they
like,
did.
"Oh, we reached out. We got professional training for these guys. We've leased more land. We've got
Veterinarian
new
on frickin'
saddles.
site.
A veterinarian, right?"
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's
So
awesome.
when service resumes, horse-drawn processions will be limited to service members killed in action, Medal of Honor or Prisoner of War medal recipients, senior NCOs, E9s, so only chiefs, senior warrant officers, CW5s, senior warrant officers, and senior commissioned officers, 06 and above. So that's all who's getting the horse drawn. Okay, I can live with that, right?
Me too. That doesn't bother
And
me.
specifically at Arlington, that doesn't sound like
Yeah.
a huge workload.
For one, you're in Arlington. You
Yeah.
don't need the horse drawn to make it that much more, right?
Yeah.
In December, Congress passed the Honoring Our Heroes with Dignity Act as part of the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act, which included funds to update historic stables at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall. The legislation also mandated standardized training and certification for riders. Mandated. Renovations underway at the stables, including increasing stall size, enhancing the footing in and around the stalls with rubberized pavers. Easy. I could have gone down
Dude.
Home Depot and got some of those, right? Improving the ventilation system and rebuilding paddocks. So,
Better care of the animal.
just
Period.
logical care of any animal.
Yes.
Like they have
Yeah.
training for the dog handlers,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I know those horses aren't going to go kill anybody, but then the dogs might. But
Yeah,
they have specific training on how to care for those dogs.
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
animals,
Yeah.
right? That doesn't make any difference. Like they have, I mean, I think Vandenberg finally got rid of their horses.
Yeah, I think
But-
did we cover that? I think
I think we
finally
did,
they
yeah.
ended
Yeah,
it.
we did.
Yeah, they
'Cause-
did end it.
Because that was a
Right.
cool program. And then the academy has horses still, but there aren't military working horses.
No, right.
So
Eric, weren't you saying that security forces was patrolling at Vandenberg on the horses?
Yep. And in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
yeah,
We had
that's
Oh,
cool.
Philippines too. Yeah,
Their own
Well,
section in the
Philippines
Philippines.
is still they're probably still going strong with that shit.
Mounted horse patrol, baby.
From the caissons to the saddles, aging and worn out equipment has been replaced. A new caisson designed designed by the Army Combat Capabilities Development Command uses modern materials to reduce a wagon's weight by more than 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
So no
Wow.
more railroad ties,
Yeah. The horses and
some
pulling
old rickety wheels. Golly, man.
Then they offer this kind of service not just for veterans, but down in New Orleans they have those
Oh
funeral
yeah.
processions.
The slow
And it's
march,
not
yeah.
like it's a reinventing the wheel.
right.
Go to them. Hey,
Right,
who uses
right.
this still? Boom, there you go.
Right.
Hot ass weather, bringing a lot of heavy load on it.
Yeah.
New Orleans still uses mounted police,
Yep.
and they have mounted
Yeah,
like
that's
funeral
true.
processions. It's not like if
It's
my
not
dumb
hard,
ass
right.
can think about it, somebody
Somebody
who
else
works
can.
with horses could probably figure it
I
out.
think they got horses downtown Denver, don't they? What they
Oh,
do?
yeah.
They do
Do they?
around 6th Street or something?
Nice, good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it just paints such a bad picture of whatever they were doing before.
It was almost
Yeah.
abusive to the animals, man. They're
And
eating
it-
rocks.
It
Shit.
does make me wonder if the guys who are running the horses are like, "Hey, sir, we don't have enough hay for these guys." They're like, shut up. We'll get hay when we get hay." And they're
It's
like,
probably the same
"Yeah, but
people
we
that
got
are
big
running Fort
problems
Carson.
here." Yeah, could be.
Like,
Yeah.
like probably the same guys that are running the chow hall at Fort Carson. Hey, we're getting beans and bread down here. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They still
right.
haven't found where all that money went.
Well, they're definitely not reporting on it. That's for sure. The herd size is now about 50 horses. The Army is looking to procure additional horses to build more squads. Many of the horses are Percherons, a breed with a large frame and calm temperament. Each squad consists of 11 horses, 7 horses for the team, and 4 that serve in a backup capacity. The program previously had about 60 horses, and 50 were retired to farms across the country. So after that second horse
they
died,
were in that bad of shape.
they were like, oh, man.
They got a whole new herd.
This was something. And I'm sure there had to be some like, Medal of Honor foundations or some burial foundations that are like, you look what you're doing to these horses. Whoever will listen, you have to make these changes. So I think they did, and good on them. I mean, nobody wants to see the horses suffer. So it's good that they're back.
sure.
But it's interesting that we covered that story, that we rounded it out again. That's, they must be listening to us, Eric.
I'm with Jake. I think that's a fitting honor for any of those guys.
Sure.
And it needs to be continued. I mean, come on.
That's
Well,
impressive.
pulling the case on, and then the riderless horse, how
Yeah.
they walk the riderless horse. Yeah, that's great. But you don't need an original Revolutionary War case on
No.
to pull. Build something new.
Paint
Light.
it black.
Light. Something the horse doesn't have to
Put some
strain.
tassels on it.
God dang. So. Plus, I think they were doing horse drawn for just like a lot of funerals.
Yeah.
What? Oh, E5 with 4 years in, you get a horse drawn.
Nice.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
But
Hey.
you get this U-shaped horse over here, and he only pull you like halfway. So
Like that one horse in all the freaking Mickey Mouse commercials, where his back is like bowed out, and he's like done. You know what I'm talking about?
Put a
Maybe
blanket on me.
Maybe we're overworking these guys. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they made the changes. That's cool.
Me
That's
too.
good to see.
A brief jump back to the Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
That was a team from Fort Carson that
Oh.
that observed and
I
shot
saw
that.
I saw the patch. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
so that was
fourth
the
ID
team
patch.
from
Yeah.
Fort Carson that actually went out to Nevada and shot it.
I mean, without getting too deep, and I know we don't on this show. However, these are top line scientists saying you'll be good, you'll be fine.
Fine. You're
Right?
fine.
Just duck down in the trench because the radiation blows over you.
Yeah.
Won't even touch you.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're telling you that by a wire that's run 10 miles away.
Sure.
Hey, you'll be okay.
But those guys at the time were like, okay, I mean, a smart guy, he tells us we're going to be okay. And
We
you're
don't
like,
know what we don't know.
who would fall for that? And I give you 2021, 2022, 2023.
All of it.
We
It's just-
listen
it keeps
to
going.
all those scientists.
It's not
right?
just that. It's like
Yeah. So it's not those troops' fault. It's just, maybe we should question science a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Just a little bit more. So, all right, Eric, I turn it over to you for our true military history.
All right. I'm taking a little liberties with our history tonight.
oh,
To do something a little different. It's not a lot different. So
look at Marty.
I'm going to describe.
Who knows? We're getting 17,000 views now. Who knows?
All thanks to Eric.
Yeah, well, thanks to Eric.
I'm going to describe an airplane.
All right.
And
That's the
as
last. We got good comments on that last time.
You're going to tell me what it is. So the first clue
All right.
is it flew its maiden flight today in 1958.
58. Okay.
58.
All right.
It entered service, and I'm not even going to tell you what branch. It entered service in 1961.
F4 Phantom.
No.
You suck.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice.
Of course it is, man.
Of course it is.
Of course.
it
Yeah, of course
is.
it is.
It
Jake,
could have been
come
the
on.
Corsairs.
Jeez,
Jeez.
Oh,
Jake,
man.
Come on.
So,
Yeah.
an American tandem two-seat, twin-engine, all-weather,
dare you
long-range,
guess
supersonic jet interceptor, and fighter bomber
Yeah.
that was developed by McDonnell Aircraft for the United States Navy. Entered service in 61. It was then adopted by the
Oh,
Marine
it was
Corps.
made for the Navey. It was
Made
the
for the
Navy.
Navy.
That's
Oh,
why the
shit.
wingtips flipped up.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah. I guess I didn't
You can
realize.
save 10 feet on either side,
Look at that.
Yep.
which
Pop
could have
up.
possibly saved you
That-
from a nuke also. Never know.
Then it was adopted by the Marine Corps, and then, of course, the United States.
Nice.
Within a
United
few years, it
States
became
Air
a
Force.
major
Air
part
Force.
of all three branches, air arm branches of the service.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huge. The Phantom is a large fighter with a top speed of over Mach 2. It can carry more than
Damn.
18,000 pounds of weapons on 9 external hardpoints, including air-to-air missiles,
It's a
air-to-ground missiles, and various bombs. Like other interceptors of the time, the F-4 was initially designed without an internal cannon or machine guns,
Oh,
but some
wow.
later models incorporated an internal M61 Vulcan rotary cannon.
Nice.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Beginning in 59, it set 15 world records for in-flight performance, including an absolute speed record for an absolute altitude record. Pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Created, I saw this a few minutes ago. I wanted to tell you, this is what caught my eye. There we go. The F-4 was used extensively during the Vietnam War, first as the principal air superiority fighter for the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps, and later as the ground attack and aerial reconnaissance aircraft. During the Vietnam War, all five American servicemen became aces. 1 U.S. Air Force pilot and 2 weapon systems officers, 1 U.S. Navy pilot, and a radar intercept officer all did so from F-4s. So you're,
The Wizzo gets to be an ace too?
yep, as part of
Oh,
the.
so those now hey, don't squishy face. The wild weasels, because the Phantom was never invented with any SAM threats in mind, because we hadn't figured that shit out yet.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
The wild weasels those guys were crazy. They would purposely fly low as shit and then go boop.
Try to get the
One
launch.
would pop up
So they could
and
jam.
intentionally get locked on
Wow.
so that the
Wow.
second one could pop up and launch towards it. We didn't have any radar guided missiles.
Oh,
We didn't
that's
have any
right.
anti-air warning systems
Yeah.
in the cockpit. We didn't have any of that, and that was all developed after the fact by the F4 Phantom community.
It's a low TTP, man. That's
The
crazy.
F4
Like, how about you get shot at and maybe I'll shoot them?
Here, let's have a drink, and then tomorrow you do it. Yeah, we'll flip tomorrow.
Yeah.
The F-4 was the most developed aircraft. With how many do you think were built?
Oh, I don't know.
It's not as big as you think, but it's still a big number.
Couple
five-
thousand.
3,500. Yeah,
5,195.
5,000. All right.
5,000 of them bad boys.
Okay.
Still in service today with a number of freaking different countries. So
Yeah.
All
they're
right.
not grounded, still flying around. But I got a kick out of that because it took its maiden in 1958 today.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Who made
Air
it?
Force?
Who was the maker of it?
McDonnell
McDonnell Douglas.
Donald Douglas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Air Force
wow.
was the last U.S. military to officially fly it, but the last U.S. government agency to officially retire the Phantom was NASA.
Ah, there you go.
They were
Oh,
still
because they used
flying
to
them.
chase the shuttle.
They were still flying
Right.
them with bright orange tails and everything painted NASA.
Yeah, because they
It was
would
pretty cool.
escort the shuttle in, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think
I don't know
so.
if that was their only job. It seems like I
Yeah.
remember seeing it. I like when you look back at old pictures of the progression of the Blue Angels,
Yeah.
and you see them in the F4s, and you're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool."
Well, and it also started the air-to-air with missiles and doing away with guns. You could now
Sure.
intercept an airplane miles away versus having to be close enough to engage with guns. So
Well,
missiles
like
were-
they said, we grew too dependent on missiles, and we'd lost our dogfighting skills.
Yeah.
That's what Top Gun taught me. Yeah,
Oh yeah, good call.
yeah,
So
but it
Nice.
was launching missiles. I like
good
it.
one, Eric. Oh,
Cool.
that's a
That
good
was
one.
a good one.
That was a good one.
I
You
like
caught
that.
it quick, man. I thought I
Hey.
was going to get through the description of it first.
There are
Yeah,
so
dude.
many during that time. You know, I don't know when the F-100 came. You get
Yeah.
confused with the first jets. Like even Jake was talking about the Corsair, right? The
Yeah.
Intruder. All those were out
Oh,
there. So
Intruder,
you're like, oh man, I don't know. I'm just going to take a stab. So
Well, you had the A4 Skyhawk that was flying off the carrier.
Skyhawk, right?
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
A4s.
What a I forgot. You're good. Sorry. I lost me.
There was a comment on YouTube. I can't remember who made it, but it was to our watching of Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
And it was just like F-16D had 2 seats. So we must have said something about the F-16. I was like, oh, okay, this guy knows his shit. So I replied to him, I was like, well, what do you expect? 2 space guys and a cop to know airframes?
Yeah.
We don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But it was great that he commented on that. I was like,
Was that
I
the
appreciate
trainers?
that.
The D
That's
is
cool.
that the trainers?
It had to be. It had
That
to
would
be,
make
right?
sense.
I don't know. I don't think operationally they have to, but who knows? Maybe.
There was a couple. There was only like a handful, like 4 or 5 2-seater A10s made.
That's
Oh,
still
really?
cool though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, on a side note, did you hear about Trump offering up the F-55?
No.
He said that F-55 because that's an F-35 with 2 engines. Because 2 engines is better. That's like,
Guys, you can't even get the 35 right, dude.
I know. I know.
Stop. Like we don't ever learn. Like we don't ever
No,
learn.
no.
Like from Bradley Tank, we fucked up that acquisition process.
Yeah.
The F-35, we may or may not
Sure.
have fucked up that. You know.
Remember we did the story on the M10 Booker, the smaller tank?
Yeah.
Canceled. They canceled
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So but you know, they poured that many millions, maybe even billions into a concept is like when you get it out there, like, that's not quite what we had in
Yeah.
mind. So let's
Yeah.
cancel that son of a bitch.
Oh, that's right. We need to continue to tax Social Security to pay for that jack up.
Oh, amen. That's what we call.
Just say.
But if we get some sponsorship for the tank, it'd pay for
Oh,
itself.
dude.
It'd pay for
Yeah.
itself, right?
Spon-
You think Big O Tires wouldn't want to put their
Big
logo
O
on the side
Tires?
of an M1?
We'll paint white walls on it. We'll pretend we're
Look
China.
at this.
Put some white walls on that bitch.
Maybe tractor or what's that tractor company?
Nice.
You know, I mean, look at all
John
the
Deere?
treads.
John Deere.
John
Yeah,
Deere.
John Deere, sure.
Case makes
Yeah.
half the engines anyway.
There you go. Just let us
Might
put
as
our
well
name
throw it
on
in.
those damn things, man.
Oh man.
Let us put our name on those things. Why
You
not?
You should put a Mack Bulldog on the front of those things.
Oh,
Like
that's
the Mack
funny.
trucks.
That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah,
awesome.
that'd be the mascot of every
But think
year.
about it. Think about
Sitting
it.
up
You
on the
got
cannon.
you got 3,500 tanks with the logo
Yeah.
on it, constantly every day. You'd be like, hey, that's $1 a day. We're going to charge you for the next 100 years that this thing is in service. You know,
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
pretty
I
good
guess.
for sponsorship. See, Eric, you got to expand
Yeah.
your mind.
All right.
Gotta think out. You could put a little sponsorship like that right here
Oh,
for the podcast. Look at that.
Yep.
yep.
Late for changeover. Yeah, that'd work.
What is that?
Well, and you gotta look at this, right? Two space guys
hell?
trying to educate a cop. That helps.
Oh, that's a good time.
Here we go. Here we go. He just won't learn, ladies and gentlemen. He just won't learn.
Neither will we.
On that note, that's a good way to end it. What do you think? I think so.
Oh man.
So, on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not
Late for changeover.
On it.
I
It
love
still cracks me up.
It's
It's still good. The bum, 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 bum.
I love that part, man.
It's good.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
thanks for the week. And to everyone listening and watching, thanks for watching and listening. And we'll see you next week.
Booyah.
Have fun, guys. Good to see you as always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Good to see you guys.